Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, my name is Heather. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today's video is going to be my story on how I found out I had PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, and how I got pregnant with it. And a lot of people suffer from it, and a lot of people have terrible time getting pregnant with it or suffer infertility, and I thought I would share my story of how I got pregnant with it. I was lucky enough I got pregnant very quickly, and I'm just trying to just share my story, and I just hope that maybe it'll share some light or help someone that is going through a tough time, and I can help them somehow. And yeah, I am in a different location. As you see, I'm in my living room right now. So yeah, I thought let's just change it up, and I did add my extensions. So if you're new to my channel and you watching a video and you're coming to this video and you see, hey, how does she have long hair now? I do wear extensions. So if you want to see how I found out I had polycystic ovarian syndrome and how I got pregnant with my son, who is now 19 months old, keep on watching. Okay, so I first found out I had PCOS when I was 24. It was at the end of 2014, I think it was, in December, because I got off birth control because I was getting my bad migraines. I suffer from migraines since I was a little girl, and when you have migraines, you're not supposed to be on birth control pills or anything that has high estrogen in it, because that just makes them worse. So I got off of my birth control because my migraines were just getting horrible, and so I got off my birth control, and I got my period after the birth control. So I was like, okay. And then the next month, I didn't get my period. So me and my husband, he was my fiance at the time, we were being careful. We were taking precautions because we knew we had a wedding coming up and we didn't want to get pregnant. So we were being careful. And prior to that, growing up, I never had any menstrual issues. I never had any cysts on my ovaries. I got my period when I was in 5th grade. I got it every month. I didn't have like horrible pains. Like my sister suffered from PCOS as a little girl. My sister got her period very young. She suffered horribly. I didn't have none of those issues until I got older, and I got off birth control, and I missed my period that month. So I called my OBGYN. They were like, you gotta miss your period for 2 months before you come in. I was like, okay. So obviously I took a pregnancy test. I wasn't pregnant. So then I missed my period again the 2nd month. So then I called my doctor, like, okay, come in. So I made an appointment, came in. So then they checked me, and I explained to them. So then my doctor, she examined me. She looked at my symptoms. Well, I told her my symptoms. She looked over me, and she was like, well, from what I see and from your family history of other women in your family having it, I think you have PCOS. And I was like, okay. She was like, because you have the darkening of your skin folds like I was having around the back of my neck. It was very dark, and around under my underarms was very dark, which I didn't think anything of it because I thought it just dealt with me being half black. I thought it was just because I had darker undertones in my skin. I thought it was that. I didn't think anything of it being from PCOS. So I was like, okay. And she was like, and I see you do have a lot of facial hair. And I was like, yeah, I just thought it was hereditary because my mom, my grandmother has it, and I just thought it was hereditary. So she was like, yeah, but it is a symptom of PCOS. So I was like, okay. She said, well, we're going to send you for blood work, and then we're going to send you for an ultrasound to check your ovaries. So I was like, okay. So I did that, went for ultrasound. Ultrasound came back normal. I had no cysts on my ovaries, and everything looked fine with the ultrasound. So then the blood work came back, and she called me and was like, well, you have diabetes. Your insulin level is very high. And I was like, okay. So of course I'm freaking out. I'm like, I'm 24 years old and I have diabetes. Like, what the heck? And at this point I was overweight. I was not in the best shape of my life. I was way overweight. I should not be the weight I was. And so I was like, okay. So then at this time, my boss's daughter was going through the same exact thing I was going through. And she went to go see this endocrinologist who was helping her out, who put her on this medication. So I was like, okay. She was like, my boss said, why don't you go see this endocrinologist? So I was like, okay. So I made this appointment to see this endocrinologist who helps with polycystic ovarian syndrome. So I finally got an appointment. He was so hard to get an appointment with. Still is very difficult to get an appointment with. So I finally got an appointment for that February of that year. So now it's 2015. So I got in there, seen him, and I told him, I was like, my gynecologist told me that I have diabetes and blah, blah, blah. He was like, no. He's like, this is what, excuse my language, but this is his exact words. This is what pisses me off about gynecologists. He was like, they will tell a patient that has PCOS, they have diabetes because their insulin's very high. And he was like, with PCOS, he was like, a lot of the times they have insulin resistance. He was like, but your sugar levels are normal. He was like, because your body with PCOS, it's something with your insulin, it pushes it higher, but you really don't have diabetes. He was like, so they will scare you to think you have diabetes, but your sugar levels are actually normal. So I was like, okay. So he was like, I'm going to put you on this medication. He was like, it's new medication. He was like, it was the old, it was like, it used to be like an old weight loss medication that was like back in the day. It was like phentermine and something else. I don't remember exactly what it was called back in the day. But he was like, it's new. They took the bad part out. They put in something else. And it's like really good. So he was like, it helps women with PCOS to lose the weight, to get your periods back in order, to help things get under control. Because my PCOS, there's not a million, but there's different types of PCOS out there. There's PCOS with insulin resistance. There's PCOS with the cyst on the ovaries. There's PCOS. There's a lot out there. Google it. Believe me, you'll see. I have the one that has the PCOS with the insulin resistance. And because I don't have the cyst on the ovaries and all of that. So he was like, I think you will benefit from this pill to lose the weight and you will get your menstrual cycles back. So I was like, okay. And I started the medication because he had me go get blood work and my hormone levels were just all over the place. Like, it was just nuts. And I was like, wow. I was amazed. So I went on this medication and I dropped weight quickly. But he told me, be careful with this medication because you cannot get pregnant on it. He was like, it's very dangerous. The fetus, it causes birth defects. It will cause cleft palate or cleft lip. So you have to be very cautious. He was like, birth control. I was like, well, I can't go on birth control because of my migraines. He was like, well, then double up on condoms. So I was like, okay. He was like, just be very careful. Just do not get pregnant. And he was like, just be cautious. So we were very cautious. He was like, and when you do want to get pregnant, he was like, you're not going to have a problem because it does make you very fertile. So I was like, okay, sounds perfect. And the medication is called Qsymia. And I was on it I went on it in February and I got off of it in May because it did make me very bitchy, I would say. But also at the time I was planning a wedding, dealing with a bunch of stressful things in my life, and there was a lot of things going on, and I think that was a big thing on that. But yeah, I was on that medication, so that medication made me lose a lot of weight. When I started on the medication, I was 187, and when I got off of that medication, I weighed 160. Yeah, and I was only on it from 4 months. And to be honest, I didn't work out. I ate right maybe for the first month or two, and it just makes you lose weight very fast. It suppresses your appetite, but not really. It just helps your body just lose weight. And there was no like crazy side effects besides like tingly fingertips, besides like the bitchiness, but it wasn't really that bad. I don't know. But yeah, so I was on that, and then I got off of it in May, and we were supposed to get married in October of 2015, but we split up for a while in May, and we got back together, and then we decided that we were going to get married, but we went away and got married in August, like I've told you guys before. And we started trying for our son in June. It was the end of June, because I got off the medication and you have to wait a month to get pregnant. The doctor says it actually takes about 2 to 3 weeks for a medication to get out of your system. I can't speak today. But he was like, just give it like a good month to get out of your system before you start trying for a baby. But he's like, you're not going to have a problem when you get pregnant. So I was like, okay. So we started trying the end of June. It was actually Father's Day. And we started trying for our son. And we started trying before we got married because we weren't sure how long it was going to take for us to get pregnant, because we knew I had PCOS, and we knew we weren't sure how long it was going to take, and we wanted a family. We wanted to start a family. So that month I didn't get my period, so I was like, okay. And then July, we got pregnant at the end of July. We got pregnant at the end of July, and I found out the week we came back from our honeymoon, because I was pregnant on our wedding. I didn't know, but he was with us on our wedding day, which is kind of sweet to know he was there, but we didn't know. But yeah, we came back, and the week of our we came back, I was actually supposed to get my period on our wedding day, and it didn't come. And I was like, I feel like I'm gonna get my period, and it didn't come. And I was like, it's gonna come. I honestly felt like it was gonna come any single day, and it didn't come. So a week late, my cousin actually was like, Heather, just take the test. And I took the test, and it was positive. So yeah, I got pregnant very, very quickly on it, and I think the medication had a lot to do with it. Losing the weight made me very fertile with my PCOS, because I think as a kid I was never overweight. I was very skinny kid growing up. I started gaining weight once I got into my 20s. As you get older into your 20s, your metabolism starts going down, and once I started, I was about 20, like 21, 22, I started gaining the weight. And yeah, once I started gaining the weight, that's when I just started seeing my symptoms getting worse. So with me, with my PCOS, the weight gain makes my PCOS, I would say, become active, I guess you would say, because when I'm skinnier, I have no problems with my periods. I have no problem, like I can tell when I'm ovulating, and I have no problems with that. And when I'm overweight, I know when I'm having issues. So yeah, we're ready for a second child, and we were having issues, and I gained weight after my son. I got right after I had him, I lost a ton of weight. I got so skinny after I had him, but it's because you would rather choose sleep than to eat after you just have a newborn. So I lost a lot of weight after I had him. I went down to a size, I think I went down to like a size 10 to an 8. I lost a lot of weight after I had him. I was feeling good about myself. But then over the years, the year or so, year and a half, I packed back on the weight, and back to that weight that I was when I found out I had the PCOS. So I seen my endocrinologist, and I told him put me back on the medication. And I've been, like I said, I'm in the process of losing the weight again, and I'm down 8 pounds since I've started. I've been on it. I'm down 6 pounds. 6 pounds? 6 pounds in 8 weeks. No, 8 pounds in 6 weeks. Sorry. Yes, 8 pounds in 6 weeks. And yeah, so we'll see maybe next spring what will happen. I want to be on this pill for a little while. I don't want to jump into having a baby right away, because like I said, we are moving soon next year. Hopefully next November we will be in a new house, hopefully. So I don't want to have a newborn or be about to pop and move in. That would just be too stressful for me. So I'd rather be not super big pregnant while moving. So I want to wait a little bit before we get pregnant. Hopefully after my son's 2nd birthday, we'll have a baby. We'll get pregnant. So I'll be on this medication for a while. I'm not having any of those crazy side effects I was having before, like the bitchiness or like any of those other crazy side effects I was having. So yeah, if you are someone who is suffering from PCOS or is trying to get pregnant that has PCOS and is having a rough time and has the insulin resistance and the weight part of it, and if you're not seeing an endocrinologist, I would highly recommend seeing an endocrinologist, because he has helped me out so much. And I just recently told my sister to go see her endocrinologist, to go see one, and she did. And she's actually on, I think, metformin for her PCOS. I think her gynecologist put her on it, but I would recommend go see your doctor about the Qsymia. A lot of insurances do not cover it because it is technically a weight loss medication. So I know my insurance does not cover it, so we do have to pay out of pocket for it. It's not crazy expensive, but it's not cheap. But it's not like killing the bank account, you know what I mean? So it's something that for the future, it's worth it. It will give us, hopefully, another little baby to love. Give my son a sibling. So hopefully it will work for us. So it's not like a killer. Some insurances do cover if you have insurance through your job, or some insurances, just double check before you get this medication. They do have savings cards. So I do have a savings card through my doctor. It doesn't save us that much, but it saves a little bit. So yeah, check out that that medication. I will link the medication down below if you want to check it out. And if you're someone that is younger or is going through like on and off periods, you're having just painful periods, you're having let's say acne and just facial hair growth and discoloration around the back of your neck, I will link a link down about symptoms of PCOS. Talk to your gynecologist or even your primary doctor about it if it's alarming you, because you can not fix it, but you can get a handle on it, and diet helps. And I'd rather someone catch it early than not to be able to catch it later, because if you know about it now and then one day, let's say you want to have a kid and you don't know about it, and you get married and you want to have children and you're not getting pregnant and you don't understand why, and then you find out and you go, I wish I would have known. And you could have always known, and you take the steps ahead of time before you and your husband have babies. You know what I mean? So yeah, I thought I would share my story with you. Hopefully when if you guys want to see more of a weight loss journey with me on Qsymia, I wasn't going to share me being on Qsymia and my us trying for another kid, but I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna tell you guys. I'm just gonna share this out there, let you guys know my story, and just tell you and be an open book with you guys and let you know more about me as Heatherragucci, and just know people have issues getting pregnant and everything's not perfect in the world and people have issues, and I just want to let you know my story of how I got pregnant with my son. And it was easy, but I really think if I didn't have that pill, we would have had problems to get pregnant with my son. And we tried for a while to give him a sibling and it just didn't happen. And I think this pill that I'm on now will give him a sibling one day soon next year. So let's hope things work. And yeah, and if you guys have been on this medication, comment down below. Or if you have PCOS and ways that have helped you, leave a comment down below and share your story. I would love to hear your stories and your success stories of how you guys got pregnant. And yeah, I love to hear all the stories of how you guys had your little babies. And yeah, I would just love all the stories about the babies. So like I said, if you're new, I would love for you to join my family here on YouTube. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I make videos 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.